So here are the ingredients we're going to need for our teriyaki marinade. Some dark brown sugar, some rice wine vinegar, some soy sauce, fresh garlic, fresh ginger, and some toasted sesame oil. Okay, so in a large bowl, we're going to mix up our marinade ingredients. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of well-packed dark brown sugar, 1/8 cup of our rice wine vinegar, 1 cup of our soy sauce, and then I took 5 cloves of garlic and I just roughly chopped them. I'm just gonna add those, and then I took a 2-inch or 1.5 inch piece of fresh ginger, and as you can see, I just roughly chopped that too. This is just going to give a lot of flavor to our marinade. It's not actually going to stick to the meat. And then we are going to add a couple good shakes of toasted sesame oil. And last but not least, we're going to add a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds. And then all we have to do is whisk this up, and our marinade is ready to go. For our meat, we're going to need a lean cut roast. I'm using a top round variety, and as you can see, it doesn't have very much fat in it. You don't want to get any kind of roast that's like a chuck roast or anything with a lot of marbling in it, because that's not going to really work when you're drying the meat out. This is nice and lean, and what I did was I put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes so it got really nice and cold, and it's easier to slice that way. And I just used a really sharp knife and I sliced it as thin as I could get it. So, I mean, it's not paper thin, but you just want to make it as thin as you can get the slices. Now we just want to add our slices of meat to the marinade. Now this was a 3-pound roast. And after I trimmed a little bit, there wasn't much fat on it, so it's pretty close to being 3 pounds. But I would say anywhere from 2.5 to 3 pounds of meat is gonna be a good amount for this marinade. And now I'm just gonna give it a good toss. So I spent a good 3 or 4 minutes really tossing in the marinade to the meat. I made sure each piece was not clinging to the next one so that they could all get an even amount of the marinade. So just take your time, make sure it's all completely covered with the marinade. And then the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to cover it and refrigerate it overnight. Now you have to do this a minimum of 10 hours, but you could even do it for 24 hours. Okay, so in the fridge it goes. So our slices of meat have been marinating for 18 hours. They've turned from pink to a brown color, and that's what you want because all the marinade has seeped in there. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out, put it on some paper towels, and drain off any excess liquid. I've laid these out on some paper towels, and then I also took another paper towel and blotted off the top. You want it to be pretty dry. There can be a little bit of wetness, but that's just going to take longer for it to dehydrate. And now you also want to make sure you get rid of any little pieces like this that have been in the marinade. You don't want to dehydrate that. So just, it's okay with the sesame seeds, but not the bigger pieces. Okay, so this is ready to go in the dehydrator. So here is my beautiful dehydrator. I've always wanted one, and wouldn't you know, one day a friend messaged me and said, I have this brand new dehydrator just sitting in my storage. I wanted to use it but never got around to. Would you like it? I was like, yes. Isn't it amazing? It's called Kasori brand, and it opens up and it has 1, 2, 3, 5 trays in there. And now it can hold quite a bit. I've only tried making beef jerky in here, so I haven't tried anything else yet, but I'm going to. So I want to thank Iris from Lucky Beach Slots for gifting this to me, and I'm gonna post a link of her channel down in my description. And if you would please go give her a subscribe and like one of her videos, I would really appreciate it. She's an amazing person. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the jerky, the pieces of meat inside. So I've loaded up our meat inside the dehydrator, and I used all 5 racks. Don't want to put them too close together or they're not going to dry properly. So just kind of give them a little bit of space. And then we just close it up and we set our temperature to 165. And it's going to take 4 to 5 hours for it to cook. And I'm going to come back in a couple hours and show you how it's looking. Okay, here we go, guys. Our jerky has been in there for 2 hours, so let's open it up and take a look. Looks good. Got sesame seed action going on there. So let's close it back up. And I'm gonna come back in an hour and check on it. It's been 3.5 hours and our jerky is done. Now I know I told you it was gonna take 4 hours, but it all just kind of depends on how thick the meat is and how fast it's cooking, but it is definitely done. And now Chris is going to try a bite for you guys. He's trying a bite. Okay, the verdict is in. It's a success. So here we have it, our nice big pile of fresh teriyaki beef jerky. Now I really like this kind because it's not the super tough kind that you get in the supermarket that you have to chew and chew and chew. This is way more tender. And because there's no preservatives in it, you want to store it in the refrigerator and it will last in there at least 3 weeks, but it's highly doubtful it's going to last that long. My family loves it, so it never stays here long. So I hope you guys are going to give this a try. It's super easy, as you can see. It does take a little bit of time, but it's well worth it, especially when you realize how much it costs to buy beef jerky. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you give this a like and share it out with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I sure would appreciate it. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.